What was your very first symptom you noticed, and what was your reaction? Had you
Um,
previously heard of ALS, or did you assume it was something else?
yeah, so my first symptom was fasciculations.
Okay.
I was like, "Why are my muscles twitching all over my body?" And, I went to a massage, I had a free massage Reiki, uh, session that I'd never done Reiki before, and, the lady was like I was like, "What do you think of these fasciculations?" Or all the twitching at that point is what I called it. And she's like, "That's really weird. I don't have any idea what's going on there." And, so I went to my primary care physician and talked with her, and she's like, "Maybe it's stress. Let's, try and relax a little bit." And I got sick for a weekend and didn't do anything, and the circulations didn't stop. She's like, "Yeah, let's send you to a neurologist." And a couple months later, when I got to the neurologist, he was like, "I'm just gonna send you to the ALS clinic because, I don't know that's what it is, but, you know, I got a hunch." So, yeah, so that was really the first symptoms, but then the fatigue and the muscle, weakness and everything started coming pretty hard after that. So,
So once you met with within the ALS clinic and you figured out and they diagnosed you with ALS, what was your reaction to that?
um, well, kind of, disbelief I had. It was, December, I went to the clinic, and they did all the testing. They said, "Well, it could be." The neurologist said, "I would give you an ALS diagnosis right now, but you're kind of on the bubble. It could be this other disease called, multifocal motor neuropathy, and, that's treatable, and so what do you wanna do?" And I said, "Well, let's go for the treatment and see if that works, and then you can always diagnose me later." So I went through for 3 months of IV IVIG, which is immunoglobulin,
Okay.
um, and, yeah, basically sitting for 2 days, 6 hours a day getting stuff pumped into me, and by the time that by the time that I like, the 3rd treatment had happened, I pretty much already knew that that was what was going on, so it was kind of a it was kind of a shock, but kind of not. It was like seeing the freight train coming, basically. So, yeah, that's kind of what my how my reaction was, and then, of course, going through the depression and all that stuff, it was, yeah, it was really hard for me to really wrap my head around it. I always wanted to be, like, looking over the horizon, and I'm a planner. I ran my own business for 20 years, and so being able to see, like, "Oh, what's coming up?" You just can't do that with ALS.
So how is your journey so far compared to what the media, the people around you, and even like the doctors expect it to be?
It's faster. Um, my, my breathing has just gone down, 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 down. no plateaus, no nothing. It's my me and my doctor call me an overachiever. Um, I'm just going faster than I really should be, I guess. But yeah, it's I mean, I don't know. Everybody looks at ALS and goes, it's such a devastating disease. And I'm kind of choosing to approach it differently. And, I've got all this time now. I can sit and talk with people like you. I can sit and plan up things like our ALS street climb. Um, I get to have friends over and just relax and focus on the connections. Um, and I'm choosing to. I mean, I know I'm gonna die, and I'm not making plans for 5 years down the road. And so it's enabled me to kind of just focus on the now.
So you said you focused on your connections.
Yeah.
Have you connected with anyone with ALS,
Oh yeah.
and how do you see your stories either aligning with theirs or diverging from theirs?
Um. Well, with ALS Northwest, we've got a great support system, and it's our support group. I've just been able to connect with some people that are really just kind of they're going through the same thing in a different way. And me and this other guy Dan, he lives not too far away, and is like, yeah, I'll come. Back. I drove to my first couple support groups, and as I became less able to drive, started having friends take me, and then Dan's like, yeah, I can take you. He's leg onset, and so he's able to get around and whatnot, but it's been it's rougher on him. But yeah, so he started coming over on Wednesdays, and he'd bring burritos, and we're just like, hey man, we should try and connect with this guy Lenny. He's really having a bad time of it. He's not coming to support group, and he's really close to the support group. Let's go see how he's doing. And so we tapped him a couple of weeks in a row, and finally he was like, yeah, come on over. You know, we're bringing burritos. What do you want? And we just sat there and chatted with him and his wife, and just tried to be there to listen to his complaints and listen to their struggles and offer some support and some suggestions, things that have worked for us, and yeah, our uh you know we've really like been connecting a lot with people and other folks. And I mean, I look at it as I don't have a whole lot that I can do, but I can try and make people feel better about their situation. So that's how I'm connecting.
So would you say there's any misconceptions about ALS progression or ALS in general that you'd want to correct?
um I don't really know what the popular conception of ALS is. I don't think it's a really well-known disease. I mean, there's a lot of times I'll say I've got ALS, and you either get the knowing, I'm like, oh God, or you get the blank stares like, oh, I'm sorry, and but they have no idea. And so I think there's still a long way to go with public understanding of what it is. Um, but I also think that that is probably pretty hard to understand because the progression is so different for everybody. So yeah, I don't know about preconceptions or not.
So you said you don't really know if there's like one image of ALS within society because
Yeah.
a lot of people are uninformed. But would
Mhm.
you say there's any ways that you defy the common stereotype, even if there isn't like a concrete stereotype,
Did I defy the stereotype?
such as in like how
I
you
think,
live your life, or
yeah. I mean, kind of, I'm just kind of doing the things I want to do. And when I first got diagnosed the first summer, I did a lot of traveling, and because I knew that would get more and more difficult, and it did. And yeah, just kind of, I think, I think, I keep on hearing from my therapist and my neurologist and folks in clinic that we're just, you know, for want of a better word, we're killing it. We're doing really well, and from a psychological standpoint. And I think that um, it's just approaching it as, okay, here's the thing. This is happening. There's not really anything you can do about it. So, how are you going to approach this thing? Are you going to approach it as a problem? Are you going to approach it as an opportunity? Are you going to approach it as you know, yeah, I think those are the two options. You either approach it as a problem or an opportunity, and yeah, try and do the best with what you got.
do you think there's anything unique specifically about ALS compared to other diseases?
Yeah, just the complete lack of understanding of what it is, and I think a lot of it is because of the variability in presentation for people. I mean, I drive around in a wheelchair and do my thing, and there's not a lot of people that go, oh, he's got ALS. You know, you can't really tag it like that, and it's not real identifiable.
Do you think there's any core experiences that you would say unites people amongst the ALS community? And the opposite, do you think there's anything that makes each individual case so different and so unique?
I think the things that unite the community are like the steady stream of losses of ability. Um, I think that's probably like one of the things, and the steady adaptations that we have to go through. I mean, we've got to like try different stuff and do some different things. And I know at support group, it's a lot of the time it's like spent on tips and tricks. Like, oh, hey, this thing worked for me, and that didn't work for me so well, and you might try this stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's what really unites us is just the steady adaptation of reduced capacity, basically.
Would you say there's anything that is so different on case to case basis?
Oh, the progression. That's really the big thing is it's just so different from one person to another. The speed, the the pattern of loss. Um, you know, I'm sure one of the one of the big things that probably unites us is, you know, when you have to have somebody else wipe your butt. That's a big loss, you know, of ability and a big loss of your own personal sense of I don't even know what the word is, but uh your sense of capacity, you know, and autonomy.
Can you walk me through a typical morning now? What challenges you and what still
Yeah.
remains familiar?
Typical morning, either my wife or my caregiver gets me up 9:30 or so. Um, we get decide whether I need to go to the bathroom or not, getting the clothes on if we're not, getting the shower if we are, if it's a shower day. Um, yeah, just basically like trying to figure that out, getting breakfast, getting some coffee, um, and then settling in for the day, trying to figure out what if there's something that's going on that I got to do. If there's not anything going on, just occupying my time. So,
Walk me through a typical morning now. What's changed and what still feels familiar?
um, so we kind of already talked about what's changed. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of like just I wait till somebody's ready to get me up, or I give a yell and say, "Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom." Um, you get more comfortable with waiting. Um, the familiarity is just I don't know. Uh, it's just another routine and just a lot more drawn out and reliant on other people.
Is there anything specifically that used to be automatic to you that now becomes more of an achievement?
Uh, eating, drinking, uh, scratching that itch on my head. Um, just yeah, basically, pretty much everything
I
is
used to be a big fan of those comically large wooden scratchers.
yeah, yeah, totally.
We would always, me and my family would always get those at like the wherever we could get them.
Yep, yep, yeah.
Before ALS, how would you
Mhm.
say you define yourself, and how would you say that has shifted?
Um, Before ALS, I was an arborist. I was a hard driving, uh, really get stuff done type of person. I mean, this backyard, this was all just like weeds in that concrete slab there when we first moved in here. And within 4 years, 3 years, 3.5 years, we transformed it to this and yeah, just that was my thing is just getting stuff done. And now I've got to rely on other people to get stuff done. Um, that's really been the biggest change.
What aspect of your pre-ALS identity would you say you fight hardest to preserve?
My ability to get stuff done. Now I just have to be a little more sneaky about it and convince others to do it for me, you know?
Fair enough.
And um, yeah, I think I've been able to maintain as much as I can my identity. I still have people asking me tree questions, and I'm still, advising on stuff, and so the arborist part is getting you know, massaged, I guess. It's just the ability to get stuff done, and that's where I've had to just go, okay, I'm just gonna ask for help.
When mobility, speech, or like breathing
Hmm.
feels challenging,
Yeah.
what's racing through your mind?
Um, when the breathing feels challenging, I just, try and relax into it. Um, what races through my mind is, oh God, I gotta pee. Mm. I think it's that fight or flight thing that starts kicking in. But I've actually been, we talked about acupuncture, and so when I go to acupuncture, I'll practice like just not using my ventilator and trying to sit with being a little bit uncomfortable with a little bit of air starvation. Um, just kind of trying to not freak out about it, but then also like if there's people around me, express like I want air, I need air, I like to breathe. So
Are there any tools or strategies that you have found particularly helpful in for your mobility, speech, breath, or anything else?
um, well, the breath thing, yeah, just like choosing moments to sit with a little bit of air starvation. Um, mobility, God, it's so different for everybody. And it's just asking for help, you know. Um, I don't think there's any tricks to mobility. Like you're gonna lose it as you go. So right now I'm lucky enough to still be able to kind of get on my feet and do a little bent over stand thing, but I can't stand straight up over my hips. I just
What about some like tools in specific, like
tools.
more like physical things, objects?
Yeah. Tips and tricks. It's like, you know, being okay with the power chair. Like I've got friends that have are kind of resisting getting it, but the power chair has been such a game changer for me, especially with my torso weakness. It's it's enabled me to just be comfortable. And at this point, comfort's what you got, you know? There's no sense to be not comfortable.
How has your relationship, would you say, changed with your family, such as like your siblings, your spouse, your children, and
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else?
Well, I don't have any siblings. We've got a lot of close friends, and that's really strengthened those relationships. I kind of know who's got me and who's don't, or who might not. Um, I my relationship with my spouse, with Andrea. Um, I mean, we still try and have fun. She's got this thing where I have to make her laugh, once a day. I've got, we've got little things that we do just try and keep it light and whatnot. But, you know, she's seeing me dying slowly. And, one of the things I've said to other people is, you know, we've got the easy part. All we got to do is die. They've got to help us do that gently and gracefully, and they be around at the end afterwards to deal with the repercussions, and deal with the memories and everything else. So I feel super grateful that my wife is such a loving and caring person. I know I'm tapping her capacity at this point. Um, and so I spend most of my time trying to figure out how to make it easier on her, and how to allow her to have some respite and relief and whatnot.
Are there any specific examples you can think of unexpected kindness recently from within your family or outside?
Um, God, it's just been the outpouring of help that I've received from so many people. Um, we decided beginning of last summer, I wasn't really capable of doing a whole lot of landscape maintenance and whatnot. So we're like, hey, let's have a landscaping party or a gardening party. And people came over and worked hours and hours, and hung out, and we talked and laughed and had a good time. And I've got a friend who you does a lot of my mobility stretching and massage, and she's just been like, pretty much like clockwork, coming over and helping out. And my friend Sean's in the kitchen right now, just prepping food and washing dishes, cleaning up, and just watching people like just step up and take over things that need doing. So,
So you just mentioned 2 of your friends. Are there any other friends you have seen, step up in ways that you never anticipated before?
oh, my friend Jenna, she's been great. She's my acupuncture buddy. And, whenever she comes over and we have happy hour on Tuesdays after acupuncture, she's always just like, staying after and helping with the cleanup and helping, with the prep, and just really stepping up for us there. Um, my buddy Jim, he helped me pull off this ALS tree climb that we did last month, and really stepped up with like just hammering through details and whatnot, and getting people on board and whatnot. So yeah, it's just been help's coming from all different angles. So
Can you talk briefly about your Tuesday nights?
yeah, Tuesday nights. Well, it just kind of start off with me and Jenna just and Andrea going, well, what's low in the liquor cabinet? And I said we should invite some other friends over here to help us out. And then we just kind of have kept it as an open invitation. I think we missed one, and that was for Kai's graduation. So Yeah, other than that, it's been a lot of fun. We sit out here on the patio and have snacks and drinks and friends and talking and laughing and just really connect with our people.
So you before you said you had friends with ALS. Have you experienced support groups online or in person, and how have those experiences been for you?
The ALS Northwest support group that we go to is just huge. I it took me a couple it's once a month and it took me a couple months to like get the guts to go and once I did that it was just like I don't know, it's just something I don't want to miss. Um Again, it's just kind of a way to share with other people that are going through similar stuff, find out what's working for people, what's not working for people, um, figure out, figure out where things are going. Um, yeah, I think the big bugaboo with going to support group was like, well, I'm going to see people that are just like so far along the way. And do I want to see that? Do I want to see what's ahead of me? And to a certain extent, it's not that bad. You're seeing people that are that far along the way, but they're just doing just like you.
So would you say that? Oh, how has your local ALS United chapter, ALS Northwest, helped
Yeah.
you amongst your process for
Oh
like
man,
information, equipment, and so on?
it's been amazing. After I got my diagnosis, I think it was like 1 or 2 days later, I got a phone call from ALS Northwest and like, hey, we want to send a social worker over to hang out with you and your wife, answer questions, just check out your living situations to see what's going on. And and they've been right there ever since. I mean, it's ALS Northwest is an amazing group of people. Um, they put on a lot of events to try and get people living with ALS out of the house and doing stuff and they have they're doing the support groups, which is amazing. Loan closet stuff. They have an amazing loan closet where you can, if you need to, you can get chairs, power chairs. You can get a shower chair from them right now that's probably a couple $1,000s worth of shower chair. Resources, we had to do a remodel on the house because all of our bedrooms were upstairs and all of our showers were upstairs. And we found somebody through their network that was working with the people. So yeah, they've just been an amazing resource for us.
Are there any other local resources such as nurses, local clinics, in your case, acupuncture that you've used and you've found vital to your helping your progression?
Um, I think the biggest thing that's excuse me. I think the no, I would say no. I think that's I mean, I do Providence ALS clinic and those are always awesome. Having the multidisciplinary clinic, going working for you over uh everybody's shown up at once. That's been fantastic. But it's kind of yeah, I think ALS Northwest really has the corner on like helping people because it's such a diversified group. Um, yeah.
When you feel discouraged, what gives you the ability to keep going?
Um, Basically, like knowing that um, I'm an example for other people. Every one of us is an example for other people and how to live. And I just want to be the best example I can be.
Are there any specific people you turn to in times of need?
Obviously, my wife. Um, I talked to my buddy Dan, the burrito buddies. Um, I talked to my therapist a bunch. But yeah, it's been, I don't know. I have talked with some other friends about, philosophies. I've found that Stoic philosophy is been pretty uh helpful with just kind of helping me adopt a mindset that works. So I highly recommend somebody with ALS just looking into Stoicism.
So you said that your perspective on life has changed a little bit and you focus more on living in the present moment.
Yeah.
Can you delve into that a little bit more?
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether I'm going to be here, in 6 months. Um, I'm, you know, with the way my breathing's going, I'm up. I've already been talked to a surgeon about getting a trach. Um, Trach is a huge amount of care. The 24-hour a day care. It's a huge burden on the family. Um, and I don't know when that point is going to come where I'll be like, I can't deal with the ventilator anymore. I need a trach. And so, uh, I just kind of take it day by day. I don't really look at the long term. I mean, we make plans a little bit. Say, yeah, let's do this. Let's try this thing. But really, it's like, you know, with the big asterisk. Everything's got an asterisk right now. So it really does kind of look at or force me to look at the day and time that I'm in and just try and be as present as I can and be as involved as I can.
How do you say sharing your story as of now has affect local and broader ALS advocacy?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I know that we're um I think more than the advocacy side of things, sharing my story is more about my personal pursuit to help other patients, other people living with ALS, and help them just kind of get to being okay with it, you know? I mean, there's not really a whole lot else you can do.
So you did the arborist-esque, climbing tree event with
Yeah.
ALS United. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, my wife and my friend Jim at a happy hour earlier this year were just like, "Oh, we want to get you back up in a tree." And I said, "Well, that's going to take a lot of work. And since we're going to put in all that work to get me up a tree, let's think about getting other people up trees too." And so we thought of a buddy of ours who had done kind of an elevator system for people accessing tall trees, and roped him into becoming involved, and we just kind of started going, well, who would we invite? And so we put the word out to ALS Northwest and said, hey, we want to also make this kind of a fundraiser. So we've we just kind of kept on planning and talking about it with people, and people are like, oh yeah, I can help out with that. And the arborist community in Portland is just, it's a very tight knit community, and everybody's always willing to help out. So we probably had about 15, 20 volunteers at the event. We had probably a total of 75 people with between the 10 climbers and some volunteers and their support groups and stuff like that. I remember being up in the tree, and once you're up in the tree, everything kind of just like gets quiet and very centered on just the space around you. And you hear things from the ground, and all I heard from the ground was just people chatting and people laughing and just, all those good sounds kind of filtering up through the canopy. And yeah, that right there was just worth it for me.
Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people with ALS are very active individuals. There's a lot of
Yeah.
ex-military.
Mhm.
Um, so you were an arborist.
Yeah.
How do you say those are silly misconceptions and there's a lot of activity involved within people within the ALS community?
Yeah, I think if you're an active person, you're still going to be an active person. Hopefully you still have that drive to get outside and do stuff, and ALS Northwest, does a series of walks, they do a ski event, they do a bike ride. Um and there's, hopefully now they'll do a tree climb into the future. And yeah, I think it's an opportunity not to not look at what you've lost, but what the opportunities are still. And you just got to be able to accept a little bit of help to get it done.
Can you recall a moment recently that surprised you with joy or laughter?
With what?
Joy or laughter?
Um, I mean, there's just so much of it, you know. I would say, and my journey has only been a year, but the amount of laughter that happens in support group, I mean, we're always joking about stuff and laughing. The laughter that came during the tree climb, the joy of people just like being so stoked about going up a tree. I mean, everybody came down with this big smiles on their faces. So,
I've never climbed up a tree.
right?
I got it. I got it now, I feel like.
Exactly. No, it's a blast. There's definitely look up recreational tree climbing in your area, and there are people that will help you out, make it happen.
Are there any goals, big or small, that you're still pursuing today?
Um, the goals are there to just kind of keep you alive, right? I've accomplished a lot of the goals that I've set forth. I've done a fair amount of traveling. I've seen my son graduate, my one son graduate. My other son is on his way right now to go get an engagement ring. So I'd say that would be a goal is to see their wedding. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the goals are just out there to go, well, you know what? I guess I'll have to do that again. After at the end of the tree climb, I found out that one of the participants was connected to a local restaurant, and the restaurant said, "Hey, next year we'll take care of the food for you." And so I said, "Well, looks like I guess I'll have to stay around for another year."
So you said your son just graduated and your other son, just got an engagement ring. Would you say your desire to see your, kids go into new adventures in life and go to new steps, pursue makes you determined to fight and to be there for them?
You know, everybody thinks about ALS as a fight, right? And it's not really a fight. It's more of an acceptance of your situation. And for me, it's like it makes me want to. I mean, there's a time where I said, well, I'm on my advanced directive. I don't want a feeding tube. I don't want a ventilator. And look at me now. I've got a feeding tube and a ventilator. And so, it changes your mind about what you're willing to tolerate to see those things. Because for a lot of people, and I'm not sure if it happened this way with your mom, it's it's a personal decision of when it's over. So I think, seeing these things happen and being able to tolerate more and more uh disruption to your life and just lets that keep on going for longer and longer. So yeah.
Sorry, one second. What's one piece of advice you would offer to someone newly diagnosed with ALS?
Um it's not the thing, it's your attitude about the thing. I mean, ALS is a thing, right? We're all gonna die at some point. It's how you approach your diagnosis that's going to affect how you deal with it and and accept it. You know, you can't you can't really do anything but accept it. And, um, I guess the other thing I would say is antidepressants rock and find a good one. It's totally helped me uh deal with deal with it.
Are you willing to talk about that journey of acceptance a little bit?
Yeah.
So how do you say you came to accept the disease for what it is, and what did that process look like for you?
Um I I have a lot of, um I feel like my friend who gave me a book on stoicism early on really helped to guide me in a good direction, and, it's been something that's really kind of helped codify a little bit about how I approach life in general, but it really helped me to realize that this is a good way of dealing with it. Um, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Um, the question was just talk about your journey of acceptance of the
Yeah,
disease.
acceptance. But yeah, I mean, I took, you know, our paid medical leave Oregon, which is like a great program in Oregon, that basically gives you unemployment benefits for 12 weeks. And I was able to take that time off, and probably spent way too much time, you know, on the couch crying. Um, and I realized that I wasted a lot of that time once I was able to kind of pull myself out with the help of the antidepressants. So I would say just, being open to that. It's a huge shock to the system. And, you know, there's no sense in sitting with the grief or sitting with the the depression when you can get beyond that pretty readily. And and then just trying to let go of modesty, let go of expectations of what's going to happen because nobody knows. My doctor, my neurologist would not have expected me to be where I'm at right now a year ago. Um, so I wouldn't expect me to be where I'm at right now a year ago. So it's just like it's going to happen as it happens, and try your best to just roll with it.
Is there anything you would want someone to know outside of the ALS community about the disease?
Um, yeah, yeah, it's a game changer for anybody who gets it. I mean, instantaneous game changer, and those people need your support as much as you can give. And not only just the person living with it, but their entire support structure needs support. So, and I think that's probably maybe even more important than supporting the person living with it is supporting the support structure, because the more love they have, the more they're able to give.
So there's one final question
Yeah,
left. Do you want to talk about anything before the final question? Is it
I'm
is
good.
okay. Looking ahead, how do you like your story to shape future resource, care, or public perception?
Um, I think my story is really one where I'm hoping to not necessarily change public perception, but change perception amongst people with ALS. Um, but from the public side, there definitely needs to be more caregiver support, more ability, more funding for supporting those people who are giving of themselves for another person who can't do anything themselves. I mean, the way that the way that there's a lack of funding for caregiver support, um, the fact that only relatives can get uh, FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, uh, protection for helping people out. Um, the fact that there's no, I mean, Medicaid is the only way that you can get any funding for the caregiving. Um, if you don't, if you're in the situation of not having a long-term disability policy already or whatever, I think there definitely needs to be more attention and more uh, assistance for caregivers.
What's your final message to the people within the ALS community?
Approach it with humor and grace. Give yourself grace and give others grace. Don't forget to laugh when you can, and yeah, laugh at it. You know, it really reduces the seriousness of it if you can just stop being scared of it and laugh at it.